Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, since you're back now, how did you get back? You were cardboard cutout for a whole month, and now you're back? Like, fully and everything? How'd that happen?
Wait, you didn't know? Your closet door is a dimensional door, dude. That's how I managed to come back. Nick popped me in there, let me cook for about a week, and then, bam, I'm back.
I think I should really close that, shouldn't I?
Honestly, dude, yeah. You should probably seal it up for safety purposes. Last thing you want is for Nick to get in it. Where's Nick?
Ooh, let's see where this goes.
Hi, welcome to the Walt's Not Dead podcast, because he isn't dead, where we talk about everything Disney, nothing else, from today, tomorrow, and forever.
Far too annoying for me.
Welcome back to Nerds Keeping Score! The one podcast where we talk about comic books and sports!
Worst show ever.
No. Where's Bryan and Rene?
Which one are you again? The one with the hat? Or the mustache?
Is that Rene? Oh. Okay. Let this be the last time. Come on. All right, maybe this is why Bryan said not to mess with it. Bad universes. Please don't be a Nazi universe. Okay, we're good. Okay, not too bad. Damn it, this is in my universe. All right, maybe they're not that bad here. Oh, thank God, man. Thank God, man.
Hey.
Screaming! Because of your face?
I shaved.
Oh. Am I home?
Yeah. Been gone for a little bit.
Sweet.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, at Undercity Comics, Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 136. My name is Nick Malone.
Rene.
It's Bryan.
And Adam.
And welcome to the show!
Woo! Never doubt yourself. Always
I
believe.
I always doubt myself.
I've gotten it wrong so many times.
You're fine, dude. Everyone loves you.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
What are we
we're
talking
about
about?
that.
Can you lower the gains on the mic just a little bit? We're a little bit too hot, dude. A little too hot.
You're hot.
Thanks, dude. Don't say that, dude. I'm a married man still.
I know, that's what makes it hotter.
Still? What?
That's what makes it better.
What do you mean? What?
He's
off
like,
the
I'm a
tape.
married man still.
Yeah,
dude, as
I
soon
am
as you-
because Nick keeps thinking that he's got like, no, he can't, dude. Even
It's like-
Andy has set the line. She's like, no, it's done.
She
Yeah,
did- she
you're
did-
This is
done.
no longer a throuple.
It's like the one ring to rule them all.
Yeah, exactly.
The one ring to dry all of them.
Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Nerds, guys. Issue 136. How's everyone doing?
So,
Oh my god,
My beard's gone.
his beard is gone. His beard is gone. So
Insert.
I had
That's
one of
not
the
by Whitney
funniest
Houston.
You
things
did it for
happen
the
to
bit.
me
What's up?
during,
What was funny?
Yesterday. So I spent the entire weekend getting Monica up to speed on The Last of Us. I sat her down, had her finish all the way up to where we're at in episode 5.
Got it.
So she watched it, and in the very beginning, she was reprehensive. She was like, I'm not going to like the show, everything like that. By the time we got to the 3rd episode, mind you, I fell asleep because I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
She stood up the whole time, and I woke up crying. Like, she like kind of like teared up, and she was like, that was cute. And then
Over the 3rd episode?
yeah, the 3rd episode. And then she looked at it, and she goes, wait, was Bryan crying to this? And then I go,
I like how that's the first idea.
and then I go, I went, yeah, he did. And she goes, what
Wow, dude.
So that was the
Shots
first thing that was
fired.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The second thing was the following day when yesterday when the new episode came out. I told her, I'll go over your house. I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick and then I'm gonna leave. She was okay. I went to the restroom, and as I'm dumping out, she then I can then hear her from the other room going, babe, the new episode of The Last of Us just came out. Do you want to watch it? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly this is what I've been hoping will happen. And then by the time the episode 6 ended, she was like, I can't believe you got me into this show. I'm sucked in. I'm so in. And so now she is a Last of Us fan. She did not know it was a video game.
So the funny thing about it is that this
Did
is
not
the
know.
first show that Andy has actually like really, because it wasn't a hard sell for her given that she's seen the first intro scene for The Last of Us, but she loves it now. It's like you don't even have to ask her to like watch it. She'll be like, she's like Monica at this point.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mandy. She doesn't love the show because I know she doesn't have like a passion for it, but we'll watch it, and I think she watches it because she knows I like it, but we'll be on the phone and then we'll just sync up and just play it over the phone while we're
Monica,
watching it.
yeah, Monica likes it because of it's really good storytelling.
Yeah.
Like she likes the idea because she's a very anxious person in general. So she likes the idea that it's like, oh yeah, they have like action, but it's not a zombie movie. It's not The Walking Dead. She said The Walking Dead was just too much. Like it was just every single day,
Yeah,
just
it's
zombie,
just-
zombie.
The Walking Dead had a weird kind of like vibe when you watch it. You know, it feels like you're watching the same episode.
It's
Kind
a
of.
gore
Over and
fest
over
Yeah,
again.
show.
it turned into a gore fest, and
Yeah.
that was one reason why she didn't really like, because she doesn't really like gore all that much. She likes this one because it's more character based. It's more we're going to spend time with set characters.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know who these characters are, we're going to spend time with them, because she even said, she was like, oh yeah, like Bill and Frank are my 2 favorite characters.
Yeah.
Well, just straight out, she went, those are my 2 favorite characters in the entire show. She goes, I know they're not coming back, but that
was
was my favorite episode. She goes, that is my favorite episode.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why do people feel the need to judge others for crying in this show?
Because you cry for
No.
everything.
No. I'm going to say this.
I don't think it's judge others. It's just not judging towards you. I think because we've all known how you get.
No, this isn't just
Honestly,
about me.
no,
Okay, it kind of is
it
about
kinda
me.
is
But
about
here's
you.
my question, okay? Because the 3rd episode, right, with Bill and Ted, or not Bill and Ted, excuse me, Bill and Frank.
No, that was
Ted.
Bill and
Frank,
Ted.
that's a movie.
Bill and Ted.
That
is
would
when
be a new take on Bill and Ted.
Oh my God, their excellent adventure.
Yeah.
All right, so did you cry at any of the episodes?
No.
Oh, you my God.
Yeah, he's
No.
a cold person.
Yeah.
How? Dude, we watched it with my sister-in-law, Andy and I, right? And we both cried. Andy and I both cried.
Yeah.
And then Jess was like, "Oh, did you cry, Brian?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's such a touching story." She's like, "I didn't really." I'm like, "Dude, what the heck, man?"
I mean, I got emotional towards the end of
Yeah.
the 3rd episode.
It was a
Yeah,
beautiful
it was beautifully
story.
done. Yeah.
And then the 5th episode,
Yeah.
spoiler, I don't want to spoil anything, but
I got choked up.
dude, it's hard. That's why
That's-
they don't show certain things
Yeah.
in shows and TV.
That's
or
the only
shows and movies.
time the 5th episode is where I was like genuinely upset.
Yeah.
Like I was just mad over that ending.
She-
Other than that, I was like, okay.
That was
you know.
another thing too, because she was so excited because she heard Joel and them, and she was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be so cool having Sam and Henry
Gave you
joining the
I
group."
thought so too.
False
Yes,
hope.
yes.
Joining the group, it's gonna be great. And then
That's what happened
and
in
then,
the game too.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome! Like they're gonna help you out. I really like Sam. It's gonna be great." And then as soon as it gets to the scene where Sam is bitten, she's like, "Well, her blood's gonna help him, right?" And then I'm
There's
like,
hope,
and then I was just quiet.
Again, false hope. Yeah.
I was just quiet and grinning, and then she goes, "It's gonna help, right?" And I'm like, yeah, he'll be fine.
No, I already
He'll be
like.
fine.
I
He'll be
think
fine.
it gives you that idea, that illusion of like. It gives you
It's
that
like
illusion of hope.
Lassie.
But it's such like, I mean, to me, like, I get it. If you don't cry, fine, but like, don't judge others for crying. dude.
No, I get
That's
why
the
it's
thing.
so
No,
emotional.
don't owe me.
No, because Monica saw how you acted after we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's
Okay,
true.
that's a different story.
No,
we'll
no,
get to that.
no.
We'll get to
You
that.
get,
No, let's
you
get
get
to it
very
now.
I get
She's seen it
analytical.
now she's seen it twice. When
Dude,
you get
it's called
old-
analytics, man. I'm just trying to dissect what I just saw. What do you want me to do?
No, it's funny because I mean Mandy's used to it by now. How you get like she saw. I think
She's
the first time you acted like you needed time was Spider-Man No Way Home, and she didn't understand it at the time. And I had to sit her aside. I go, the thing is like Bryan's a huge Spider-Man fan, so like he had to really take it all in, and he had like all the Spider-Mans from his life. And I was like,
Just give him a couple seconds.
I'm like, just leave him alone. Just don't.
We'll get into that story. We'll get into that story when we talk
touch
about
him.
Ant-Man,
Yeah.
all right?
Don't touch
Because
him.
Andy gave me a play-by-play of what happened. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Because I was like in my thoughts
No, in the
for
theater,
like
too. You were just like
5 to
this.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he hit me in the middle of the movie theater, and he goes, and then I leaned over, and I just see you.
Like, hey Bryan, what'd you think? and he's like,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why once the show starts, okay? But speaking about this, right? About people judging and stuff like that, all right? Because I'm tired of it. Tired of it. Guys, I have a new goal.
what's that?
I have a new goal.
Okay, it's gonna last for a month.
Oh my
I have a new goal
gosh.
for us.
Jeez.
This is what I want you to
Oh my
achieve too. This is what I
gosh.
want you to achieve too, Adam. I want hate from the community, right? That we exist, but hate that it creates actual thoughtful hate messages. Like it's a well thought up hate message that really makes you think. You have to think about
You want
this.
a well thought death threat?
Yes. That's what I want.
He wants a death threat that put into time. And
Like
He
this
wants to
person
go
had
like,
it.
whoa,
I
this
want
guy's
person-
That ripples
time.
out to every single time.
Yes.
Yeah, like this guy put a lot of time and effort. He wrote a story on how he was gonna murder me.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason why you didn't see this, why don't you check the chat, dude? That's why we have it.
yeah.
For what?
here.
To talk, to message.
So this conversation's brought up to a video I saw on TikTok, and I sent it in the group chat. Bryan loved it. So really quick, Good Mythical Morning runs a podcast. I don't know what their podcast is called actually.
So they have like a bunch of them. They have ear biscuits. They have a bunch of them.
So
I want to work for them.
So they have a segment on their podcast that they specifically read hateful comments, and it's read to Rent and Link, and then they basically judge on how great or how good this comment was. I'll play it right here on the audio right here.
Oh, I f***ing hate your stupid show. It's f***ing stupid. Seriously, I cannot wait for it to go to just like that Ray William Johnson equals 3. And next time you do a video on eating, maybe try not stuffing the microphone down the two throats, making everyone listen to the sound of chewing. Instead of Good Mythical Morning, you should call it Four-Eyed Virgin with a Tobey Maguire chin and a tall with a Marshall Erickson body. Please end your show. It's dumb as what the is the mission statement anyway? Any point to the show? Please do everyone a favor and stay in YouTube Red, where wannabe actors go to die.
I think that was rather constructive. There's a lot to think about there.
And the whole time, the camera pans to Rent and Link, and they're like, and I'm like, oh, like,
Dude,
yeah.
imagine getting that in the comment section. Like a well thought up hate message.
I want a hate mess. I want a hate mail.
Dude, don't you?
Yeah.
Like after that, that's the goal.
I feel like that's another goal after
Lewis, give me hate mail.
You're in the shower right now,
I
right?
know you're in the shower.
You need to think about this. Tell us what you think, actually. And you know what? I want a full 2-paragraph
My goodness.
comment.
But first
All right?
of all, rinse that part off. Okay, you're good.
You missed a spot.
Yeah.
That's what we need. That's what you guys need. You guys, that's the goal.
To get hate bait.
Let's see who gets it
Jeez.
first. Our Real Addiction or Keeping Up with the Nerds.
All right,
That
whoever
could be an
Wow.
absolute
first
menace,
person to
though.
get a death threat wins.
Yeah! As long as we don't get doxxed.
And you can't
You can't force it.
No, you can't enforce. So don't say anything controversial.
Guys, I
That
need
someone's
you to-
automatically gonna be like, like,
All right.
it has to come naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the video, though. Don't dislike
Yeah.
it. Don't dislike our videos.
Yeah.
It helps us out if you like it. Thanks.
Talk about my weight.
Oh
can
my
handle it.
goodness.
I can take it.
I can take it.
I can take
I'll
it.
be like this.
Oh my god! All right, so you know what? Let's move on. I think this topic is done. We've got a very, very large podcast today because we only have one topic to talk about today.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd say it's ant-sized.
Get out!
Podcast is ant-sized.
Oh my god, dude! I swear, Adam, we brought you on. For
You
a
brought him
reason.
on.
I do. We brought him on.
We just had to say yes.
Right now, he's like Canada.
Everybody loves the Canadians.
No one, no.
Yeah.
No. We allow you to exist.
Their
What do
money,
you mean?
their money is called a Thule.
A toolie. Yeah. Your milk's in bags.
The more Canadian audience.
And in
the
America,
more-
a
yeah,
toolie is a
the
gun.
more
These hosers are talking crap about us, eh?
Oh, hey.
They talked about our money. Like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. We should send them an apology.
Yeah.
That didn't sound Canadian. You went Canadian to like East LA.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican Canadian.
Oh my gosh, no.
Paisa hoser.
Paisa hosers. You never heard of a paisa hoser?
Yeah.
Paisa hoser.
We should send him a case of beer.
Hey.
Oh my god. What was it? It's the what was it? The ice ice shaver. What's it called?
Para los raspados?
No. For ice rinks. What's it called?
Oh, Zamboni or whatever.
Oh, a Zamboni on hydraulics.
Oh my
You guys don't
god.
have those? Zamboni? Yo, what's-
That's where the hate mail's coming from. Canada.
Oh,
Canada?
no.
Let's go, dude. If we get Canadian hate mail, that's what we want.
Dude,
That's an achievement on its own.
I'm
to get
sorry,
Canadian.
eh? Like, don't disrespect, eh?
Yo, your podcast is not that good, eh? Also, I'm sorry for being so mean.
When you come to Canada. No, I don't know.
When you come to
Let's go
Canada.
let's go. Tim Hortons, eh?
Tim Hortons.
just gonna add Tim Hortons in there.
Oh my god.
Just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, just Tim Hortons.
Oh my god! All right, I'm sweating now.
There it is.
Yes,
bro.
we gotta talk about the main topic. Why are people listening to us, and why is Adam here? Why
We
all
just
of a sudden-
lost Canadian listeners
It's
right
fine,
now.
dude.
Yeah.
No, we actually got more of them. Right? That's what ended up happening.
You're gonna be like, oh, bro, they talked about
You
Canada.
sound like an East LA Canadian. That's what you're trying to get. Why do we have Adam on the show? Well, here's the deal. The Ant-Man movie is way too big to talk about. If we talk about every aspect of the Ant-Man movie, it's going to take like 2.5 hours to do this. So this is a crossover episode. Adam's joining us here from his podcast, Our Real Addiction, which you can catch on the on YouTube tomorrow on Thursday. If you guys are watching this Wednesday when it comes out, here on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So we here at Keeping Up with the Nerds are going to talk about the impact the movie had in the greater MCU, as well as like some small, little bits of reviews of what we think about the movie. That's about it. If you guys want to listen to some other stuff, Our Real Addiction is going to handle
Really the difference between why there is a split between the critics and the fans, and where's the middle ground, really.
Perfect. So, 2 different topics to talk about. So, if you guys want to listen about, the impact the Ant-Man movie had in the MCU, stay tuned to Keeping Up with the Nerds here in this issue. If you guys want to know about our thoughts in terms of that sort of stuff, critics versus audience score, Our Real Addiction, you guys can catch them Thursdays at 11 or 12 is when you guys post
11
them.
a.m.
11 a.m. here on YouTube and wherever you guys get your podcasts. But before we get into the Ant-Man stuff, let's talk a little bit about comic strips. right? It's gonna be very short, very small,
And sized.
and it's gonna be ant size. That's ant size, and it's going to be MCU related. So, you, Rene, sent me some information. Yeah.
Oh no,
Sent
not
us
that one, but the other. Yeah.
Oh, no. That one's for us.
That one's
Whoa.
a private.
That one's us.
incognito mode, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. You know about
Private
that one, right?
tab.
Nick doesn't know because he doesn't check the message, but you know. Okay, well, check your messages later. You don't worry about it, Nick.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, dude.
I'll check my messages.
It's too late, dude. We deleted it.
On the Discord?
You don't know that?
I'll go back and delete it right now.
Wait, hold on. Now I want to know what it is.
This is unfair. My phone's over there.
Oh, it sucks. My phone's over there.
My phone's right here.
Pull it up for me. Let me see.
No, it's okay.
Anyways, you pulled up the information.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That Spider-Man.
This is a rumor.
It's a rumor
within the Marvel Studios.
Yeah, no other outlet has really posted about this besides
comicbook.com, I think.
something like that. Yeah, comic book movie or something like that. Yeah,
comic book movie. Yeah.
So, what is this rumor?
Basically, this rumor is that word around the water cooler at Marvel Studios is that Spider-Man is possibly the next main focus in the Avengers storyline.
Don't say.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, with all your main Avengers gone, and then with the new characters not getting any spotlight yet, Spider-Man's the only logical option. He's the more resonated character so far in Phase 5.
I have to agree with that.
I thought that originally they were going to make it where he was like a ground level hero. I thought that was going to be the original idea because he was supposed to be partnered up with Matt Murdock.
Well, he could
At
still
least for
he could still technically be a neighborhood hero.
I think even Kevin Feige said that they do have stories that they're working on for Spider-Man right now. They're just,
Well, they just announced the fourth is in production, or it's being written.
Yeah.
Or it's finished, one of the two. But yeah, but I think the biggest thing though too is like how do you not have Spider-Man attached to the Avengers films? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's your character that's gonna grab people in the seats
until we see returns.
Yeah, because I heard a rumor. You also heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor. So you heard a rumor, then I heard another
separate
rumor
I didn't hear
that goes
this
the
one.
opposite
That
direction.
goes the opposite direction because I heard
You know what
that
rumor
they
you're
got.
talking about?
Well, he was kind of briefly mentioning it.
Oh, okay. Do you know what rumor? Okay.
So
What rumor is it?
So the rumor that I got from a couple of people was that Downey Jr. is going to be in Armor Wars and Secret Wars.
I heard there's a cameo in Armor Wars. I did hear that actually.
I heard that he was an AI.
Yeah, that
he's Rhodey's AI.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, that was gonna essentially be his small cameo in the film.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So
Like
what's
he
the
would
rumor
be-
you
he would
heard?
be his
So the rumor
Jarvis.
I heard is that a Marvel executive has said that that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is no longer on the table.
So yours is from a Marvel executive. Yours are from people.
Well, it had to
Trusted
be somebody.
sources.
It has
Who's
to
your-
be
who's your
somebody who
trusted sources?
knows. Well, I mean, obviously, this is leaked to the internet, so it'd have to be somebody who's in that area.
Who'd you
who
speak to?
knows that.
Who'd
I
you
don't
speak
think
to?
he can say that.
Stanley himself.
Stanley, I got a Ouija board and went, Stan, what's going on? And then
Talk to me, Stan!
And then it went EX, not Excelsior, Stan, not Excelsior. No, I know that one.
He does an Iron Man comic at your face. That's who he spoke to.
Is this
Stan
mean
the
that
man.
Robert Downey Jr. is coming back?
I think.
God damn it!
I think with Renee's story, that could just be a marketing ploy because of the fact that Downey got leaked.
Well,
Could be. It could
So-
be them backpedaling.
so the
Yeah.
reason as to why Renee's is an easy believable sell is because you need a front-facing superhero. Like you
Yeah.
need the cover boy,
Yeah.
right? And Iron
The Spider-Man one makes sense.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Spider-Man is Marvel's biggest selling superhero.
But Iron Man, by the time Armor Wars comes out, you just have a small little cameo of Tony Stark talking to Rhodey, and it's kind of like an AI that he set up for Rhodey. That would make sense.
No, that would make sense.
not only that, but then if you then had Downey Jr. show up in Secret Wars, that also makes sense.
It does. So hang on, before we
And it-
dissect the Robert Downey Jr.
and
stuff,
that's 2025, so that would be in 2 years.
that would be. But before we dissect
Well,
the
didn't
Robert
Secret
Downey
Wars
Jr.
get
stuff,
pushed back to 2026?
Secret Wars?
Yeah.
No, it's coming out now.
2025.
No,
No, I-
Secret Wars is this year. Oh, Secret
No,
Invasion.
Secret
Secret
Invasion.
Invasion.
Secret Invasion
Yeah.
is this year. Secret Wars is different. Yeah.
I think Secret Wars got pushed back though.
Did it? I thought it was
think-
2025.
I think it got pushed back to May of 26.
So
Okay.
I want to go before we talk the Robert Jr. Downey stuff, okay? Because that's if he comes back, there's no reason he shouldn't come back. It's obvious that exactly the
it's
money.
the
right?
again. It's another culmination.
Exactly. It's
You know?
it's big money. It's
So,
big money. It's easy money for them.
Secret Wars will come out May 1st, 2026.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
2026.
King Dynasty has
25?
been announced to come out in May 2nd, 2025.
It's a
So
smart
exactly
move.
a year
Smart
apart
move.
from each
Yeah.
other.
Well,
Okay.
because that would catch us up to the Marvel timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I say that Spider-Man being the cover boy of Phase 5 is because he's Marvel's biggest selling superhero. To your point, hey, I thought they were going to ground him down. I thought he was going to be the neighborhood Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood, right? Why can't he be both? Robert Downey Jr. technically was both. He wasn't an Avengers level superhero for the first couple movies. He was just a philanthropist billionaire who was trying to figure, or not even billionaire, trillionaire, or whatever you want to call it, right? He was the guy that was trying to fix the fact that his company sold weapons. And then as the story progressed, he then became essentially a leader of the Avengers.
Well, a lot of his movies are dealing with his own mistakes and
Yeah.
trusting the
Yeah.
wrong people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the Iron Man movies. But for Spider-Man, I wouldn't mind. What I want to see is Spider-Man get older. I want to see Spider-Man go to college. I want to see Spider-Man be happy. Spider-Man becoming his own hero. Taking the lessons that he learned from Iron Man, Captain America, all these other people that mentored him, and being one of the best heroes in the world.
But you're okay.
Because of it.
So totally agree. But how many times do we get that in the comic books? And it's 6.
And that's the problem.
Exactly. It does not work.
So
Renee
do
and I
it-
have had this
I know,
conversation multiple times.
But do it in the movies then.
I
You
think
can't
they'll do
it in the
all
comics,
that
do it in the
except
movies.
him be happy.
If you make him happy, you can't sell the books.
Yeah.
And so
Why not?
That's why they'll do everything in the movies except make him happy.
But why not? Spider-Man deserves to be happy.
oh yeah, no, 100%.
But
Peter
he's
Parker
not-
deserves to be happy. But then how do you make a story out of it?
Suddenly it's boring.
Him trying to protect his happiness, or him
Okay.
trying to protect the things that he cares them. There are other ways in which you can do this.
I don't disagree with you. But for the time being in the MCU, right, he has to build himself up because he's starting back at nothing. He has his tiny apartment, right? He has to make his costume by hand, and he's trying to do right and put himself back out there after everything that happened in No Way Home, right? So yeah, he has to build himself up, and he has what? He has 3 years to do so?
Yeah.
With another movie and maybe a couple cameos here and there. And who's to say that Marvel doesn't have any projects in the works where they include Spider-Man a little bit here and there and build the story up in the background?
That's the other thing, though, is that I want to know what happened to Stark Tech after, because from what it sounded like at the end of No Way Home, it sounded like Stark Industries was dissolved.
Yeah.
More than
Under
likely it was.
investigation.
It was under investigation,
Yeah.
but the thing is that if they don't have a Spider-Man,
Well, we'll probably figure that out more in Armor Wars.
no Peter
Definitely.
Parker, no Spider-Man, then everything should be fine
Mhm.
because there's no problems.
So the Armor Wars part, that I didn't think about.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
you
find
s-
out
yeah.
about Tony's company and where
Which
it's
is now
at.
a movie.
Yeah, it's
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be a
because
movie.
it's supposed to be Rhodey and
Riri.
Williams trying to get all of Tony's armors that have been distributed out. It's basically them trying to get all these weapons of mass destruction and reclaim all of them.
Yeah, basically. Because, like you said, everything's been dissolved. It only makes sense. And it makes even more sense that you cameo Robert Downey Jr. in Armor Wars in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because that's it. Not only that, but also, or have a flashback. You can always have like Riri Williams in the crowd the day that he made the was it the barf presentation over at MIT. You can do a couple of different things.
You can. And who's to say that an actor, because that's the thing, is that he hasn't said, Robert Downey Jr. hasn't said he wants to stop playing Iron Man. He hasn't like gone out there and been like, this is it, this is done, it's over with, right? The one person who did and is coming back is Wolverine.
Oh yeah. Well,
That was different though.
I wouldn't.
Robert Downey Jr. had that conversation with Joe Rogan, where
What?
they asked him if he was done, and he said, "Well, we'll see."
Exactly. The
You know.
door's
Same thing
always
with
open.
Chris Evans.
Yeah. Well, Chris
Yeah.
Evans is back though.
Yeah.
As
He
well.
has his own project that's separate from Captain America 4
What?
that he's going to be doing as Captain America. A lot of people are thinking it's the Stone storyline.
Up to.
Yeah. Well, him returning them.
Yeah, it's up to.
Oh, Up 2? That's what it's called?
Yeah, you know, because he's gonna take his house and he's gonna
Stop, dude.
Over the head. Over the head.
Just old man
That one
cat.
floated literally right over his
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
He's just dropping the stones.
Up was just Up was the storyline we didn't see at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
Up.
It's just him and Sam just dropping off stones in a flying house.
Dude, he's so proud of that joke.
He is.
The thing is, it wasn't even that good of a joke. It's just
A solid joke. It made you laugh.
I'm laughing because of your reaction.
It was great. It was perfect.
I forget his name. Oh my god, the actor who plays Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman said that he was done with being Logan and Wolverine after Logan.
Well, he was done with it because he had talked to. What was it?
Because even Sir Patrick Stewart said he was done.
Sir
But he's on
Stewart-
standby right now. He's been told to stand by.
Yeah, Sir Patrick Stewart's on standby, but I know that he had talked to somebody about, why did you leave a specific project? And they go, well, you should always end on top. And then he goes, that's a good point. So they then went, okay, cool, we're gonna finish Wolverine's storyline off with Logan, because even this one is pre-Logan.
Yeah.
Which one?
Deadpool 3 is supposed to take place. Their Wolverine is from either a different universe Wolverine or different universe Logan, or it's supposed to take place pre Logan.
I think it's different universe Logan. It only makes sense to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to mess up that storyline that they built so well, especially with watching Logan and seeing everything that he's gone through and the reason why he's trying to save X-23. Mm-hmm. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, it's these rumors are believable. Mm-hmm. The Spider-Man one is more believable, I think, than the Robert Downey Jr. one. But the Robert Downey Jr. one is still
plausible.
It's plausible because
That door is open.
Yeah, the door's always open, and who's to say that he's not excited to just come back and maybe pop in for 10 seconds as a voice and then be like, done. Here's my $1 million paycheck. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? Paul Bettany used to say it was like 2 hours of work to do all of his Jarvis lines.
Yeah, and that was it.
2 hours for $1 million.
Yeah.
Who says no?
No, of course
No.
not. Easy money right there. So that's about it. Any other things before we move on?
No.
That was it?
No.
That was it?
No.
Oh, did you hear also about apparently Phase 10 is the conclusion of the MCU with Galactus?
Phase 10.
Yeah.
Dang.
Where are you getting this
Where
from?
are you
That was
getting
on Twitter.
Galactus?
That was on Twitter.
What's Twitter's a
With Galactus?
But a lot of things. But there's a lot of people on Twitter who've gotten leaks right.
Yeah, they've gotten leaks right.
Twitter's pretty sourceable when
Hey,
it comes to.
look, okay, we've theorized God Doom for the past couple months, okay?
Yeah.
So if it comes out
But
in the
apparently-
next 4 or 5 years,
But apparently that's
We were
not that's not in the works.
shut your mouth.
Doom?
Yeah.
God Doom?
Yeah. That
How's
it's gonna
God
be-
Doom not in the works?
That
dude?
apparently it's still going to be Kang. It's sorry, King.
Dude, Kevin, look. Slowly, little by little, I'm agreeing with Rene. I kind of want Kevin Feige out of that seat already. After coming out of Ant-Man, I was like, I'm inching with Rene just a little bit, but I'm not ready to pull that trigger. And if their news comes out that God Doom is not in the works,
Pull them.
pull him out.
No, because Secret Wars is primarily a Doom storyline.
It's a God
Yeah.
Doom storyline.
It's a God Doom storyline. How are you going to do Secret Wars properly without Doom?
Then don't say Kang, because Kang was not. Did you read the Secret Wars comic book?
I haven't yet, but that's apparently what's going on.
No.
Is that no? I'm not saying. Okay, obviously you're saying no, but apparently it's going to be Kang in Secret Wars.
Read
as well.
Secret Wars.
I will.
Okay, read Secret Wars. And tell me how
Is it-
Kang is going to work in that storyline. It doesn't work.
Doesn't I mean?
No.
They could with the whole after credits in this at the end of Ant-Man.
I'm disappointed in all you guys.
Well, I'm
There's
just
a
saying.
lot, but again, Marvel could be putting this stuff out just to throw everybody off
That's true. So
Yeah,
people are
fine.
surprised.
because
I
they're.
mean, what,
No, I want Bryan to accept that.
It was
Dr.
originally
Doom's
supposed to be
not
what,
in
Serpent
Ant-Man.
Society that we
Yeah.
never
I want you to
got.
accept
Well, that was for Civil War, right?
You live in
And
the
then,
reality
yeah,
where that
yeah.
Dr. Doom's not going to happen.
Dude,
accept it.
You need
This is
you
the
wanna corrupt me,
timeline.
man.
This is the timeline. Dang.
Well, also you can't have Fantastic Four without Doom.
Yes.
True. But accept it.
No. Look,
also a very
if
good point.
Fantastic Four comes out and Victor Von Doom
Doom's
dies,
in it, but he's not in the god level of
that's
villainy.
fine. But
He's
if you
just-
He
kill
doesn't
him
need
off
to
in
be
that
at that
movie,
point, though.
if you kill him off in that movie and he's donezo,
That's it. No more.
that's it. I'm done. Hey, Kevin Feige, get out of here now. No.
So you're off.
You don't even know. When Andy said, okay, to me, Dr. Doom looks dumb because he looks like a metallic Robin Hood, I got up fast. And I was just like, listen, you don't disrespect Dr. Doom.
She's not wrong.
Why do you want to instigate me, dude? Why do you want to cause problems?
I got a question. You're ready for Kevin Feige to skedaddle on Marvel?
So
Definitely.
You think so?
Yeah, I want him to, but
Because of the last 2 years?
No.
no, just in general.
That too.
So
I feel like he doesn't. I feel like everyone just says yes to him, and no one wants to question his.
that's Renee's take.
ideas. Yeah.
This is all Rene, okay? I'm still on the Kevin
Yeah.
Feige.
Me too.
I'm a Feige stan. I'm a Feige stan.
He has to fumble an Avengers film for
did.
me. Which one?
Ultron.
Oh, that's true.
That was
oh,
Joss Whedon.
But that's
Was
not
Kevin
even
Feige
a
not there?
bad film, though.
Look, it was Joss Whedon.
Kevin
Okay,
Feige
you
not
try
there?
talking to Joss Whedon.
That film's not bad though. That's still a pretty good solid
No,
film.
they told him. They told Josh Whedon that you have to put Thor in a well to find out the Infinity Stones, or you're not gonna have your Hawkeye house scene.
The Hawkeye what?
The Hawkeye house scene.
Because he was really fighting Whedon on what scenes were going to be in the movie, and then they shoehorned a couple of scenes into Age of Ultron.
'Cause,
That's why there's a couple of scenes that are just weird.
By the time the second movie came out, they want the Avengers to already be acknowledged the Infinity Stones.
Oh, I
But
see.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but
It
there could have
makes
been
sense.
there could have been a better way to do it, but I didn't like that they held a scene hostage against Josh Whedon
I mean, in all
at
fairness,
the time.
I mean, in all
fairness,
fairness,
it's Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Joss
Yeah.
Whedon's done worse.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's held
I
other things
don't
hostage.
want to bring back Firefly because people canceled it after the first season. I don't want to bring it back. No.
I was going to talk about the stuff on Buffy, but I mean that's fine.
yeah.
too,
And what he
you know.
did to Justice League.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and Ray Fisher stuff. I mean, that's besides the point.
Well,
Those are the little things, right?
Right.
those
Yeah,
are the
no,
little
of
things.
course. Totally makes
we don't
sense.
talk about those.
Wow, that's messed up, Brian. Those are little things to you. Jeez.
See, this is how I get canceled on Twitter right there.
This
Look,
is the
Rene,
hate. This is
Rene
the hate.
is a... Because you also want Kevin Feige out?
No, I think he has to fumble.
An Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So...
Legitimately, because
so-
he didn't. Okay, whether you think that he didn't fumble Age of Ultron,
So,
Age of Ultron, of the Avengers movies, Age of Ultron is the weakest.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
now, with that said, we have to get to the topic of Ant-Man, okay? Before we get into our thoughts and review of the movie itself, okay, I want to get into the accuracies and the story that helped build Quantamania, right? So for the entirety of Phase 4, we got no real big tease besides the things that we saw in Loki.
Loki was the main connector to this. If you
Yeah.
really wanted
The
to figure out
only-
what was going on, the only two things you really needed to watch was Ant-Man and Loki. You were fine.
That
didn't
No
really
Way
need to
Home
watch.
kind of.
No.
It opened the idea of the multiverse theory a lot more than Loki did, because Loki was more along the lines of like the TVA and how the timelines work.
But they were talking about branch timelines and about all these other invariants
Yeah.
and everything else inside of Loki. So, and not only that, but also they're using exactly the same circular timeline, graphs.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was one story. Loki kind of branched everything together.
And
I would not say that. What I would say is Loki was the paper, and No Way Home was the visual aid that helped. Like, yeah,
I think if you never
Bless you.
watched
Bless
if
you.
you didn't watch Spider-Man,
sorry.
went into this movie, you were fine.
Well,
There's
because-
there was nothing in this movie that connected it directly to Spider-Man,
Okay.
and there was nothing in Spider-Man that directly went. Well,
Are
that
you
makes
saying
sense.
that Spider-Man caused the multiverse?
No, that Spider-Man showed you what messing with the multiverse does. Because in Loki, Loki didn't show any of that stuff. Loki was more along the lines of like, this is the universe that we see now.
Yeah.
This is the idea of the multiverse, and if it goes this far off,
Yeah.
it causes havoc, and then we have to come in and erase that entire timeline, and then everything's back to normal. And it wasn't until the end that you see the timeline, the stream, and the consequence of basically, who was it, the Kang that existed there?
Kang the
He Who
Conqueror.
Remains.
No,
He
he
Who
was.
Remains.
Wasn't he the? Oh yeah.
Yeah, He Who
He Who
Remains.
Remains
When
is in
he ends up
Loki.
dying, everything starts to split up. So you see the idea of the destruction of what happens when something goes wrong. In No Way Home, the actual action happens in a timeline and you see the consequences unfold. So that's why No Way Home is essentially an essential part of this whole multiverse thing. You might not believe it, but tell me why then. Like, why is it not?
The reason why I'm saying it's not is because it doesn't directly connect to Kang. It doesn't directly connect.
Yeah,
to
you can still understand what's happening without it.
Yeah, I can understand what's going on with Kang and everything else if I just watch Loki. If I just go through all of that, because at the end of Loki, he specifically says, you're going to be meeting my variants. That's what's coming next, is my variants, and they're going to be destroying, and they're going to be attacking. By the time you get to the end of Ant-Man, spoiler.
Oh, yeah, this entire podcast is going to spoil Ant-Man, by the way.
But the thing is that by the end of it, even Scott Lang is going, wait a minute, he said if he didn't win, his variants were going to be coming and killing everybody.
Exactly.
And he was making the same threat that he who remains made. They never said Peter Parker. They never said that there was an incursion that happened. They're never saying anything about.
They briefly mentioned when they said that the Avengers have started touching the multiverse at the end credit scene.
They said that the Avengers, that was Loki, right?
No, that was Kang.
Or
that was one of the Kangs from the Council of Kings.
But the thing is that they're saying that the Avengers touched it. That's going back to Endgame.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go to our universe's timelines. They went to all their universes to grab their Infinity Stones and then put them back. Because they said that you don't go to your timeline. It's a brand new timeline that you're going to that then branches off. So your past becomes your future.
I just had an idea, because the origin of Kang has always had to revolve around Captain America. That's the reason why Kang exists, is because what Captain America has done in the past. He messed with the timeline. What if the connection for Kang is Captain America going back into the timelines and putting back the Infinity Stones?
But he had to clip the branches.
But what if that is the reason why we have Kangs now?
So,
or why Kang is going after different timelines.
Explain that Captain America Kang relationship for people that might not know.
In the golden age of comic books, you have the reason why Kang goes after the Avengers is solely because of Captain America. He's a man lost in time. Yeah. So it could, I think, in the storylines that because from going from 1940s into the present time, he messed with the timeline essentially. I don't think that was supposed to happen, and it happened in our timeline in the 616 universe, and that's why we have Kang. Kang tries to go back because from that branched out a different timeline that Kang's universe died and stuff like that, or his planet died or something like that. And that's why Kang's into our universe and trying to stop Captain America from
the amount
existing.
Of times that he keeps coming back is creating another Kang.
They could do that too, where with Steve Rogers in Endgame, at the end of Endgame, if he's causing rifts by going back in time and trying
staying back in time.
He wasn't supposed to stay. He wasn't supposed to stay with.
That is actually interesting.
Yeah,
that would be great.
That would be a cool.
Because now it circles back to the comics.
That's the thing. Yeah,
that's good.
That'd be interesting.
And that's what. And Kang brings Captain
America back. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, because that's one of the reasons why Kang is so important, or Captain America is so important to Kang, is because he messed with the timeline, or his timeline, essentially.
Interesting.
From pure existing.
The thought comes in of, did Endgame ever show at what points the Avengers stole the Infinity Stones from?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they stole one from the Battle of New York. They then stole two from the Battle of New York.
No, the Tesseract doesn't leave with them. Oh yeah, but they steal the Time Stone too.
They do steal the Time Stone
and the Scepter,
and they also steal the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
So they steal two from the Battle of New York. Then they also steal two from
2014.
Because it was the Space Stone, and then also it was the what was it?
The Power Stone.
Power Stone. Yeah. So that's what I mean.
Or no, the Soul Stone and the Power Stone.
Was it the Soul Stone?
Yeah, because Thor goes to 2013 for the Reality Stone.
Yeah. So they show where they're going inside of it, because they say that, oh yeah, if we pick the right dates, there's three or four Infinity Stones in New York at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get them all in one place, so they have to. Okay, that makes sense. It's actually a good point that Rene was bringing up. I didn't think about that. That's interesting. So, going into the movie, right? So this movie was supposed to introduce the idea of the quantum realm, where it's supposed to be at. It fully introduces us to the big bad of the next part of the MCU, right? We had our Thanos. Now Kang is supposed to be this big bad that's supposed to replace Thanos, right? We already knew about this guy existing in Phase 4, right? In terms of that, did the movie do its job in setting up the multiverse and the threat that it's going to have in the MCU?
I would say that the movie had the movie had a lot of flaws. There was a lot of things that weren't as good inside of this one, or didn't make it as fun as the other Ant-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to admit, the one thing that they did get right was Kang the Conqueror as a big bad, as somebody who you're kind of afraid of. You're kind of like, oh man, if this guy keeps showing up.
Yeah, and still somehow held back with him.
Yeah, and held back with him. He's gonna be he's gonna be pretty hard to take out, especially with an infinite amount of them. Of every single time I smashed one, 10 more come back from him, from seeing the whole council and everything else. So they really did introduce Kang really well. The adventure into the multiverse, we were talking about it in the podcast room earlier when we were shooting the skit. There was some inconsistencies. There were some things where you were just kind of like, I guess we'll go with it, because they were talking about, oh yeah, time works differently inside the quantum realm. It didn't work differently. They just showed back up the same day.
Yeah.
They were saying that, oh yeah, there's like different there's like time vortexes or different stuff like that. They never showed that inside of the quantum realm. So it sounds like they made a really good adventure movie, but it wasn't really a good Ant-Man movie. I think you could have made this with anybody.
So you guys saw me pensive throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
This would have been actually a really cool Fantastic Four movie.
No, you know what? You're not. That's not a bad idea. Instead of doing Quantum Realm, you could do the Negative Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
This would have been a really cool, like, Fantastic Four movie.
The reason I was pensive throughout the entire movie was because I think you said it. You like this movie.
I like this movie.
You like this movie.
It wasn't bad.
I liked this movie, but I couldn't stand the writing for it.
So I'm on that same boat, I guess, with you, because my one complaint is that the movie didn't take any risks.
Okay.
Towards the end.
I have a different reason.
Okay.
It was sloppy. Because there were a lot of... The two big reasons for this movie, sloppy writing, exist in the fact that you didn't finish a story arc completely before moving on to the next one.
That's true. Yeah.
You had like 2 different stories going on in the first hour, right? With Group A basically doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And then as they're about to get to a part that's interesting, it cuts and you go back to Group B. And by the time you go back to Group A, they're already done with that interesting part, but we never got to see it. So it's kind of like a movie that missed all the visual parts and just had a bunch of dialogue that tried to explain the story that was going on when you really wanted to see it. The other big problem I had with this movie is that a lot of the major parts, a lot of the major conflicts in this movie were solved because things just happened.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that, they got out of a situation simply because that was it. It was funny, but I didn't like it. The fact that they understood the quantum realm people's language was because they drank the ooze, and that was it.
Never explained why.
Never explained why. What's so special about it? What's so special about this ooze? Oh, they just did it in. That was it. And it's supposed to be funny. It was funny at first. It just didn't buy it.
I felt like somebody, I feel like that was in the writing room, and somebody went, "What about if it's just ooze that they got to drink?" And then everybody understands the
they
language.
drink the dude's body fluid.
Yeah, and it's just this dude. It's just a squid.
Yeah,
It's a type of
a squid with no holes.
Yeah,
which was voiced by the actor that plays Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
He was also in the
Really?
the other Ant-Man
That was
movies.
him.
Yeah.
He was voicing that character.
Okay.
But that's the thing, though, is that if you put this up against the 3 Ant-Man movies, I would say that this is not the best one. I still think Ant-Man 1 is the best.
Yeah.
No, it is. And plus, this one didn't have Luis in it.
Yeah.
No.
No Luis.
I mean, unfortunately, the story outgrew those characters.
Well, Yeah, I mean, you could have, but I would have liked, at the end, you have Paul Rudd, talking about his life.
Yeah.
Why not throw
Luis
Luis
in
It's
there?
easy. Yeah, it's easy.
You could have easily thrown him in there by making the book that he wrote an audio book specific, and
Luis.
Luis
that's
read
it,
it.
Yeah.
and it's read by him.
Or Luis is his driver.
Exactly.
Or
There's
anything
so
else.
much quirkiness in this movie. It could have worked.
Yeah.
But that's the problem that I have. The idea for this movie is solid. It's a good idea, right? The foundation worked really well.
Yeah.
The cast was phenomenal. I felt like every actor and actress in this movie put in 110% because they love the characters that they're playing. They love the storylines that they were following. But the entire screenplay was just so bad.
I think it would have been interesting to have Luis go into the quantum realm with them and have that moment of like, whoa, dude, like have that person who isn't a scientist or isn't.
But with that problem is then
Like,
that you
drinks
have
the
too
Red
much
Juice, like,
wackiness.
It tastes like
Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
But the film was already random.
No,
and it
random
embraced-
and wacky are different. Wackiness is just over the top, like zany little adventures. It's like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, he's like the outcast of this entire place. It'll ruin the quantum realm.
No, but you already did. But movies have done that, like Jumanji: The Next Level.
They have.
They've done that before, where you have somebody who has no idea what's going on, has absolutely no background in this, and they put him in there. Luis is a great character, or also you could have had it where Luis is trying to get them on the other side, and that would have made sense too, of them sending a message and then Luis answering, and then he was the one that was able to open up the portal back on
But
the
see,
other side.
here's the problem. Okay, if Luis stays out there outside, right? If he was only existent in the universe. On Earth, right, and not in the quantum realm, that's fine. You bring him in there, all of a sudden the quantum realm goes from like just to okay, I don't really believe this world, because for me, a good science fiction movie. This movie is science fiction, right? It's giving us an out of this world experience with the quantum realm. The quantum realm was not believable. It didn't sell. It didn't build up that world as to what it should be. And you guys pointed it out. How is it that they were there for a couple hours and time didn't move? But in Endgame, it's explained that he was in there for 5 hours and then time moved for 5 years. That makes absolutely no sense.
Scott
right?
even says it to Cassie in the movie of going, I don't know how long we've been in here. Who knows how long time has moved outside?
But everything is just normal.
Yeah.
I
There
thought
needs to be some consistencies.
I thought that when they got out of the quantum realm, that the universe they popped in wasn't the universe they left. That would have been an interesting part.
That would have been interesting, or
Right?
like they seem like they were alluding to that towards the end when Scott's talking to the audience.
Yeah.
I was expecting some sort of like subtle difference or like a big difference. Maybe the
Or him
Avengers
even
don't
seeing-
exist or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
expected to see Kang.
Yeah. Or Kang just like walking
Yeah.
around and he
just smiles at him.
Or Kang is the overlord of this in this
Yeah,
one.
like a
Like there's like statues of Kang.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, that would have been good.
So
Yeah.
something along the lines of that, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So-
Again, they didn't take any risks.
They played it safe.
Yeah.
But I think that what happened for this, right, screenplay wise, is that they took. I did not like the advertisement for this. They overhyped the quantum realm to be this, connecting force for the multiverse. That the quantum realm was going to be a big player when we talk about the multiverse saga in the rest of the MCU. And it's not.
I was really afraid that I was gonna get like Star Wars vibes when you're watching this movie because there's
there's some.
there's like
Yeah.
little, but like I'm hoping like it's not a pure image of like Tatooine or something
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah. But I think the quantum realm's done. It was used as a setting. They threw away a pretty good setting.
Yeah.
They did. They threw that away.
Yeah, there's no
Well-
reason to go back to the quantum realm.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
What were you
I
gonna say?
mean, not that there's no reason, but Kang's still there.
No.
No.
Oh, he's not. That's right. He got sucked into this thing.
Yeah. What movie did you watch?
Hey, I don't know.
An alternate ending.
Did.
You saw the alternate ending.
Yeah,
You saw the
I think he was in the
different-
quantum realm
I
himself.
was. I mean, who? Yeah. I mean,
See again, but then see the movie.
unless the
itself.
Fantastic Four's there.
It's really interesting they decided to go the route with Kang at the end of it, completely getting rid of him altogether, which is interesting because we talked about that after we saw the movie. We were like, because this movie could end one or two ways. Either, Kang dies or Kang gets loose.
Uh-huh.
But then we talked about it, like it doesn't make sense to let this Kang out because this is like peak Kang. He would basically destroy everyone.
He would have been done.
Yeah.
He would have been done. There is an interesting idea about this Kang, right? it's that because we came out with this theory. What if this Kang wasn't Kang the Conqueror? Right? That's what I said to you.
Yeah, because he never really said himself as Kang the Conqueror.
No, he just referred to himself as
Kang.
Yeah.
But the people referred to him as the Conqueror.
The Conqueror, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
He never refers to himself to that, right? There's a council of Kangs that meets in the end credits scene, right? What if one of them ends up being that Conqueror?
Yeah,
right? There could be still a bigger threat.
Yeah.
Now, again,
He's the Kangiest Kang.
he's like a Kangiest.
Yeah.
It's with an uppercase K.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
uppercase
like
K.
the K is bigger and the Ang is just like super tiny.
He's an airbender now.
Oh my gosh.
But that's
The
the thing
time
is,
bender.
you're right. He would have been a bigger threat if he would have gone to Earth, right, and would have done or the whatever the MCU number is for that timeline.
That
right?
would have. I think that would have been really cool. I would have really enjoyed an Empire Strikes Back ending for this.
Yeah, that would have been
If
interesting.
Kang would have trapped them in the quantum realm, and it just ends with Kang's boots landing in the attic, and it's like Kang the Conqueror is loose.
See, this would have been a cool, like a movie before Avengers. Like
Yeah,
this is
he escaped.
He escaped,
Yeah.
and now it's up to the Avengers to stop him. But Ant-Man's trapped or something like that.
See, but Ant-Man's already been trapped.
Yeah.
So it's lazy to do that again.
See, that was the problem, though, is that because that's what we had said multiple times.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those things of we kept saying, and I feel like that may have been the conversation they had in the writing room of, well, we're gonna trap Ant-Man in the quantum realm. It's like we've already
we
done
did
that.
that,
We've done that. We've gotten him out. So, to say, oh yeah, we don't know how to get him out of the quantum realm. That's pretty lazy because we know.
Well, they did a lazy way to bring him back at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, Cassie's just gonna send a signal, and that signal turns into a door.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was
you
it.
thought that he was trapped in there again with hope, and that was it.
makes it more interesting.
That would have been
Because he's not alone this time.
I thought that
Yes.
would have been interesting. Not only that, but also, I thought it would have been interesting if that's what MODOK died doing.
Ooh.
If MODOK's last effort was to get them
Because he's not a dick.
back into the real world, like
No.
because MODOK is the one that actually opened the door.
Yes.
They have no idea how the door opened.
Yeah.
MODOK opened it.
Yeah.
So if MODOK would have then opened the door and died doing that, like Kang would have smashed his head in or smashed the crystal, and then that's what closed the door. Or, Ant-Man could have done it or whatever. That would have made more sense. And then it would have been like, oh, well, MODOK was the one that got us here. We don't know how to get down there.
Yeah. So, the likes for us. Can we all agree MODOK was probably the highlight? of
MODOK
this
was
movie?
my
I
favorite.
do like MODOK.
Yes.
Yeah, MODOK was
However,
good.
though,
Oh my God.
hang on.
Uh-oh.
It's like he was, though, I feel like, on the back burner.
No.
Yeah. Yes, because they kind of just they wrote him in a funny way, which worked.
What did I tell you?
Which
What did I
worked.
tell you? That people were not going to understand MODOK. Okay.
MODOK is a weird character in general.
Yes.
Yeah, and I understand that. However, Darren Cross, I feel like he's wrong for this MODOK.
No.
Actually, we talked about that on the way here too.
Only
We did.
because
It makes sense to have Darren Cross as MODOK.
No, yeah,
Or like- or
it
like a
definitely does.
reoccurring
But it
character.
felt like, but watching it, you know what it felt like? It felt like they didn't know what to do with him.
No, they knew what to do with him.
The reason why I thought it was smart to use Darren Cross is because MODOK is a very complicated character. So in order for us to give MODOK his full explanation and to give him his good backstory, you would need to give MODOK a movie. In order, or a TV show or something.
Or hint at him, yeah.
Hint at him. You'd have to give him some length. Just because there's so much to go on with MODOK. There's so much there. But if we just say it's Darren Cross, that gives us our motivation, that gives us our background, that gives us everything that we need. We can just put him in the MODOK suit and we're done.
Yeah, because you need AIM to explain MODOK, and they kind of threw away AIM in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
So they were already written in a corner. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why for Darren Cross, I agree with Bryan and Nick where it's like it just makes sense. It's an easier palate to swallow.
No, yeah, and it worked, and I think that's where I say the film's random, because he was one of, I feel like, the randomest points in the film.
His existence in the movie is random.
Yeah.
It's welcome though because
definitely.
He
Yeah.
was that Luis that we were missing
Yeah.
in this
That's
movie,
true.
Yeah.
right? He was that comic relief in that
Yeah.
entire film. But the thing that
Kind of.
in a way, with certain lines and stuff
I
like
did
that.
like
They
those-
tried it with Cassie.
No, because I thought it was the telepath, the dude from the
Oh,
Good
yeah.
Place.
He was a
Oh yeah.
Unintentionally, he was.
Unintentionally,
Unintentionally,
but it was
yeah.
it was the dry humor
Yeah.
where
The serious tones.
that
Yeah.
serious tone, which he's really good at.
Yeah.
You know who I
that
would have
really
liked
works.
more is the guy, the actor from the It Crowd, as that character.
Where have I seen him before?
Who?
The telepath.
Oh, from the movie. Oh,
Yeah.
He's
The Good Place.
The Good Place.
Thank you. I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out. I'm like, why do I know
I
him?
literally just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good Place.
sorry.
I didn't like the Good Place.
No,
Nah,
your first season's pretty good.
I couldn't get into it. I was like, yeah.
Did you watch
I
first?
can see why.
Did you
I
watch
watched-
first season?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so where's it gonna go now? Like, I'm like,
Did you watch the whole show?
No, I watched after the season 1, and I'm
The
done. I
ending
was
is
done
pretty
after
good.
that.
Yeah,
It's got a pretty solid ending.
We're not talking about a good place though.
Okay,
We went to the
sorry.
bad place, the quantum realm. All right. No, but I did. That was the thing that I was afraid of with MODOK that I was telling
Yeah.
Rene is that people were going to get the wrong idea from him and
Yeah.
wanted more from him, and you can't because MODOK is not that character.
Yeah.
You could dislike MODOK, that's fine. He's not a character for everyone.
Yeah.
But the thing is that MODOK, in a lot of different comic books, right? He's written as a comical character. He's
Yeah.
a
He's not
big
meant to
head.
take seriously.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's basically
floating
an organ-
head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you- how else do you write him?
Even his cartoon is really funny.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's why when that's the whole point of MODOK.
The only thing I didn't like about MODOK is the capture on it. I didn't like that he looked like he was from Beowulf.
Or from
Oh,
Spy
that's
Kids.
true.
That
Yeah,
huge
they
comic.
really did an interesting computer generated.
Where they just
him.
stretched his head.
Yeah, they took his, but I mean, it makes sense because he was shrinking down
Yeah.
from the suit, and I guess like
He's disformed. in a way.
yeah,
That was my thing though, is that
Yeah.
I was kind of like that he looked really weird. He looked like everybody. He looked like everything was put into the background.
I think,
And then they all
yeah.
went, "Oh, did you do MODOK?" Bro, we forgot about MODOK.
I feel like
How did we forget?
I feel like no matter what, even if you put time into making MODOK look good, it was still gonna be
It's gonna look
ridiculous.
weird.
Yeah.
This is
It
the
was
best
gonna look
version that we were
ridiculous.
gonna get.
Yeah, it was gonna look ridiculous regardless.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Going to the cast, right? The cast was really good. I
Lot of
really-
chemistry.
A lot of chemistry between everyone. You can tell that everyone really loved playing the parts that they played.
Yeah.
Except Bill Murray. I feel like
He
No,
didn't care.
so
But
out
They
of
treated
place.
it like I said.
Yeah.
They treated him like Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok, just like a more obscured version of himself.
Yeah,
you
I was already annoyed by him, and Andy was just like,
Yeah.
"Did you get the joke where he was like insinuating that him and
they
Janet were
banged?
doing it?"
That they
I'm like,
banged,
"Yeah,
yeah.
I got it the first time around. I just don't want to hear it 4 to 5 times in
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one scene."
I feel
So
like that's
annoying.
Bill Murray lately, though, in every role he's
Which
doing.
sucks,
yeah.
man.
It
It's
feels
just so
like that's
annoying.
more of his presence overtaking the character.
Yeah, it's
well, I mean,
whatever.
that's the thing. That kind of sucks when Marvel does that, when they take these
Actor,
really
yeah.
good actors that were good in their prime,
Yeah.
and then just to have them just for
Just say Bill Murray's
5,
in it.
10 minutes. Yeah,
that's the
5, 10
thing.
minutes.
That's the thing, and
Yeah.
just to have them, just to market them, they're in the movie. Hey, look, we got this well-known actor, guys, that
Bill Murray
wouldn't be in a
didn't-
Marvel movie normally, but he's in here.
and
Yeah.
that was it. He was even in the marketing.
Yeah.
But the cast is so well in this movie. They loved playing the parts that they were
Yeah.
given and everything.
I would have loved if Bill Murray would have been like an old retired like hero, like back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Like
That
a
would've
minute,
been
like a
cool.
Minuteman or something like
Well, it
that.
seems they
or-
seemed like they were trying to go that direction. and
Freedom
then they just-
fighters.
yeah, and then it just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Kang's in charge.
An old perv that likes
Yeah,
to talk
never-
about the women I used to bang.
Never,
Okay, that was
They
it.
never really explained what made Bill Murray change sides.
Yeah, it was weird.
But
He was persuasive.
Yeah.
He was persuasive.
He has
that
his
was
way.
it.
Yeah, he has his ways
Yeah.
of being persuasive,
Which
I
was
like,
whatever.
Okay, I guess.
But the highlight to the cast, right? And this goes back a couple issues that you and I were
Jonathan
talking
Majors
about.
is awesome.
yeah, Jonathan Majors killed it.
He
but
was
that
great.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors is awesome and hot.
But
Yeah, very.
the thing that I was talking about, you mentioned it a couple issues ago. You're tired of Marvel killing off people.
Yeah,
None of them died. No one died.
yeah.
No,
I was
he did.
expecting to
Except
like,
MODOK.
MODOK died.
he died
but
in
he's
Avenger.
a throwaway character.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The laser, which one? Laserface.
Okay, but he's
That
a
was throwaway.
character. Yeah, throwaway. I'm
You were
talking
never
about the
gonna see
essential
him.
cast. The Ant-Man crew
Yeah.
is still
I'm not
alive
gonna
and
lie.
well.
I think I'm still under the thing of it should have been Hank Pym that grew to 100 and that grew to the size of a skyscraper and like defeated a bunch of things. I wanted to see Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne back in the
That would have been cool.
I mean, we saw Janet.
I think that's their go away scene. Bless you. That's their going
That's their
away
secret
scene.
wars.
That's their going away scene.
Oh, you know what?
But
That kind of makes sense.
but-
If that's the case.
Okay, let's all be realistic. Michael Douglas is old.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Let's all be
I was
very
gonna say
realistic.
something.
Like Michael Douglas, I'm hoping we get another 10 years of Michael
Let's
Douglas.
hope he's still around.
Yeah.
We just need him to last 3.
Stop.
I'm
dude.
just
why
saying.
do you-
Stay healthy.
Look,
Didn't
it's-
you
look,
want-
Yeah, I know, but he was saying let's be real, and then you're over here going like, okay,
We just
let's
need
at least
3. We
How
just
about
need
give
3.
it- Let him live as long as he wants.
Isn't he with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah,
He's
so his
really-
wife's hot. He's fine.
Oh, that's true. He's living a happy.
Yeah,
well, happy
he's
life.
fine. He's happy. We got 25 easy. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy
Catherine-
25.
But I'm just saying, the more okay,
Next
as
to the
the
headlines,
Ant-
they break up. He's dead.
Oh my
as
gosh.
the, okay, here's the thing: as the Ant-Man movies have been going on, you can tell the age.
You can.
You
but,
can tell that
but they
that
wrote
he's-
every
he's
character in a
aging.
way where, like, if someone, God forbid, you know, be it doesn't maybe have to be death. Maybe it doesn't have to be death, right? Contract dispute, whatever it is. The Ant crew has essentially could go their separate ways. They're written in a way that it's kind of like, okay, they did what they did here. We may no longer need.
I feel like that's not true though, because they, especially in this one, they wrote it where Cassie refers to Hank and also Janet Van Dyne as grandparents.
That's fine.
They're part of the family.
If I don't know, let's say Hank Pym and I don't know, like, let's say that they die, they pass away, right? You could still write it into the next movie that they no longer are with us and they passed away in the time between that. You know,
It's
the last
easily
scene
the
and somewhere
opening
else.
scene.
It's exactly. They could easily just write it off that way.
But that's the other thing though, is that that goes to Renee's point of there was nothing that was
There's no risk taking.
no risk.
But does
because
risk taking have to mean death?
No, I'm
in a third movie?
in a third movie when you're establishing your new baddie in the overarching, story of
Him
your
taking
phases.
him taking out an Avenger would have automatically marked. Oh dang, he means business. Even if it would have been Hank Pym.
Because you want your villain as soon as to come on screen and be like, oh, like that's what I got.
But they kinda-
I'm going off of like Negan when he was in The Walking Dead.
That's fair.
You
No,
had
that-
to have him established to
Yeah.
kill one of the main characters in Walking Dead, because every time you see Negan on TV, you are scared.
You hate him.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
hate
Right?
him and you're
So
scared.
they kind of did that with the ending,
Yeah.
but they didn't take a big enough risk.
No.
Because technically speaking, right, Scott Lang killed off, quote unquote, Kang.
Yes.
But he questions it. Did he or did he not die? I don't know. And what did he mean by that last message, right? If the threat becomes bigger, he has to hold on to that secret that they went to the quantum realm,
Yeah.
that they did all these different things, and that they got rid of this Kang. But because of that, they released more.
It could be where Scott is going to hold that to himself until it happens, because he feels that maybe if he says something, it might happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is that itself, that scene itself is the big catalyst that is leading up to the rest of the MCU, right? And I think that was,
Did you notice that there was a lot of green and purple that was surrounding him once they got back?
yeah.
It's
That
like
was
it's in the
interesting.
balloons and
Yeah.
it's in like the cake and everything else. Where it's just
I love how
It just keeps going.
Yeah, I
But-
love how that's Kang's aesthetic now. Like, we know that's Kang's aesthetic.
Yeah, green and purple.
Green and purple.
Yeah.
So
just like the Hulk.
Yeah.
yeah. I had to think about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But that's kind of like the strongest point of that movie. I think that's why I really liked it a lot. Because, or not a lot, but that's why I liked it. Because the foundation is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? The thing that it's built, like the thing that we build the foundation on sucks. The actual building sucks.
Yeah.
The foundation, I see where they're going with it. I like it. It wasn't that big risk you wanted.
No.
But at least it gave us that risk that now Scott could be responsible for what's going on. You have the responsibility of Loki killing off or allowing He Who Remains to die, which causes the timelines to split.
Yeah.
Right? You also have Scott being a part of that problem as well, because he killed off, or quote unquote killed off, the exiled one.
Yeah.
And now the Council of Kangs is coming out going like, oh yeah, well we got to do this and that and all that other stuff.
I think of it as if this Kang escaped, he would have killed all of those Kangs along the way.
That's why they were afraid of him.
Yeah, that's why they exiled him.
Yeah, and now with him gone,
it's open season.
Yeah, it's basically like now these Kangs are gonna basically do whatever they want without the fear of him possibly coming back.
Yeah,
and I understand this scene with Scott pushing Cassie through, and then it being Scott and Kang. I think it would have been interesting because Cassie views Hank Pym as a grandfather figure. The relationship between Hank and Scott, I feel like, hasn't been addressed in 2 movies. Because in the first one, they're getting really close. Like, you know, Hank Pym is very much a fatherly figure to him. He's being his mentor.
To Scott.
Scott. He's teaching him everything it is to be Ant-Man. The second one, not so much. They distance themselves because he goes to fight with Captain America. So they distance each other. Then in the third one, it kind of sounds like Scott hasn't been talking to Hank in a while because he's so out of the loop.
He became the hero and it let that get to his head.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's best.
But they never worked on that that mentor-mentee relationship.
That's where the writing fails because it's established that everything Scott knows is because of Hank. Oh, how do you do your uppercut when you size up? Oh, it's you size up and you lunge as you're doing it at the same time.
Snap and pull.
Snap and pull, exactly.
And that was the thing is, I think it would have been interesting if you would have had kind of a Yondu situation of instead of it being Cassie and Cassie being pushed in, Scott being pushed in, and then Hank closing the window and staying there and fighting Kang, knowing he's not going to make it, but he can trap Kang here. If there's anything I can do, I can protect
death scenarios with certain characters. Like that's the problem I have is that if you were to go about your route, right, where you trap Hang in the quantum realm with Kang and he's the one holding him back, like a what is it called, not the Atlas situation, but in Greek mythology, but the guy that pulls up the boulder for the rest of his life in the underworld. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's just eternal punishment for Hank. That would have been interesting. He doesn't die. He's still around. You can basically write him off and not have any more contract disputes. If he passes away, something happens, contract disputes that don't allow him to come back. He doesn't have to come back. They could just say that Kang killed him off and that's how he escaped the quantum realm.
Well, no, because it would have been interesting if you would have just seen him slap it on like the Ant-Man suit. It snaps back over to him. And then, he grabs Kang and he's holding him and then he just goes, cool.
So you thought that too when they introduced the whole like slapping the suit on?
I thought that
so too. I thought Hank was gonna pull a fast one and be like, "You be with your daughter, Scott," and just like slap it on himself and then fight Kang. I was thinking that too because when they introduced that, I'm like, "Huh, okay." So it's like a puck.
It's kind of like
Iron Man. It's Iron Man tech.
Yeah. Is it Iron Man or Shuri or Wakandan tech?
I don't know.
I think Iron Man was the one that did it first. Didn't
show it in the MCU first.
He's only done nanotech.
Nanotech was.
He's done the briefcase.
It's Pym tech.
And then he's done like the whole obviously in Avengers, it's like a little tube and it just like exoskeletons on him and stuff. But never really a compact kind of thing. It makes sense that they would take the idea of doing that, but then shrink it, and then when they press a button, it basically stretches.
There was the one where it looked like an action figure.
Yeah.
But see, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because that right now the MCU needs stability. Because of Phase 4, it was way too unstable. With this movie, we got an okay ending, and that to me is fine for now. Build upon that foundation. You've already introduced the multiverse. You introduced your big bad, and you didn't kill off any of the main cast. You still have possibilities to work with them and even bring them into different storylines given the time and the stories that are written. That's fine. Right, we can dream about different scenarios and so on and so forth.
This is far too expensive to bring him in anything else.
Then you don't bring him back. Then you hold off on it for a bit until you need him again. They wrote him in a way that you don't have to bring him back, and that's fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
He wasn't. We didn't get to see him come back in Endgame. It was just Hope.
Yeah.
Well, he came back. He's at the funeral scene.
Yeah, no, but like he's not in the final fight, obviously, for obvious reasons. But we didn't get to see.
So where does this movie land in terms of the impact that it's going to have in Phase 5?
I think this one is going to be interesting.
This movie is going to.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
I think
it's
later down the
callous.
road we'll
Yeah.
see how
Really, how
important
much? Yeah.
it was.
Ironically, the most important things out of these two, out of this entire kind of, out of this entire phase, is Loki and Ant-Man.
And Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Those are
true.
the mo-
No,
those are the mo-
Loki was
those-
phase 4. This is this is the second of phase 5. No, this is the start of phase
This
5.
is first phase 5.
This is the beginning of phase 5, but I mean, as a connector, it's going straight from from Quantamania to Loki season 2. Those are going to be your two most important things because they're the ones that are actually addressing Kang.
The
They're
ones
actually,
that,
they're actually bringing up, and that was kind of the cool thing that happened in the original phases, is that everybody, in some way or another, was talking about Thanos. There was something that was happening that had to involve Thanos. Guardians of the Galaxy, they were dealing with Thanos and everything else. Avengers, they were dealing with the Chitauri, who were the army of Thanos. What was it? Thor, they were dealing with the ether, and they were trying to hide it away from Thanos. You know, everything was connected together. So far, people have just been doing things in the universe, and you're trying to set up this big bad, because even like the Marvels or Loki or any of these other, how is that going to connect into Kang, into the Kang dynasty? How is that going to connect into Secret Wars? I still feel like the puzzles are I feel like the puzzles right now are all over the place, and none of them really connect except for like a small group.
they laid out foundations to pull from, and that's the fear I have, is that they put too much out that they're not going to use it all.
I feel that in moving forward, we'll see different variants of Kangs in after credit scenes. Like maybe they were.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, like they were the ones behind in certain story arcs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Maybe we'll see a different Kang in End of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or 3. We'll see him in an after credit scene.
Maybe he's manipulated something with
same
what's
thing with
his
the
name?
Marvels.
Yeah.
Same thing with
The
the Marvels.
Superior,
We'll
with
see.
the Superior or something like that. Or
The Elders of the Universe.
And then maybe in what is it? Moon Knight season 2. We'll see Pharaoh
Can we
Kang
not
at the
talk
end
about
of
Moon
it.
Knight
so.
season 2? It's a limited series. Stop making it a thing. I'm sorry. I just get really annoyed that they're forcing a season 2.
Yeah.
It's a limited series. Make it a limited series. It's fine. We don't need a second season. It was a good enough season as it was.
don't give us a cliffhanger at the end.
That's true. The way they
Oh,
wrote it was
the
The
terrible.
way they
More
wrote it
Moon
was
Knight's
season
coming.
2.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. Whoever
And-
made that choice of calling it a limited series is
Not only
stupid.
that, but also it was because they wanted to get it into the awards. But that also goes for Blade, Daredevil. There's so many of these other like properties that they're talking about that you now kind of go, okay, I don't know where this is going. Like, I don't know how these affect Kang. I don't know how these affect the multiverse.
There's a lot of properties like that. The one that didn't, Miss Marvel, because Miss Marvel left a lot of context with the bracelets that are giving Miss Marvel her abilities. That
Different
could be connected
dimension.
to it. Yeah, different dimensions. Shang-Chi, they're talking about the different, at the end credit scene,
So it
Rings.
was sending out a wavelength.
something
or
like that, which
sheriff.
could be leading up to Guardians. It might be connected to Guardians. It might be connected to this. We don't know, right? So there's a lot of hanging pieces that still haven't connected yet. That's the fear. You got to connect it this way.
Yeah.
What I will say is the Nerdist pointed this out, right? And it did look familiar. I just couldn't put a pin to it. The time platforms that all the Kangs are coming through, that's Dr. Doom tech. That's something that he uses to travel from point A to point B and traverse the timelines as well.
Mr. Fantastic uses it inside of Doctor Strange.
Bingo. That's another thing in the multiverse of madness. So it's something that's we've already been seeing.
So we could see then a Kang connection in the new Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah,
Obviously,
we could.
we're going to get one, I think.
Well, you also said it, didn't you, that Kang is a
A
relative?
descendant
Descendant.
of
Reed
Reed
Richards,
Richards.
and Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, because his name is a descendant of Reed Richards and is Nathaniel Reed's.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That was Nathaniel Richards.
Reed Richards? Is it Reed Richards?
It's Reed Richards.
Okay.
So Nathaniel Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's that they're leaving subtle hints. But again, goes to your point. You cannot leave so many details and then expect us to just patiently sit and wait until everything comes together. It's like, oh, remember from this part, remember from that part. We could get it. But who's to say others that aren't as knowledgeable about comic books and the storylines, they're going to pick up on
I
it.
think Marvel Studios is giving more credit to the audience now. Now that we're
Yeah,
like invested 10 years plus now, I think expect the audience to be paying attention at this point.
Yeah.
There's no more like, oh yeah, we're gonna play it safe because we're gonna introduce these characters. No, you guys have been invested for 10 freaking years.
Easter eggs don't exist really
No,
anymore.
but that was the easy thing about the original, movies, was that each one was introducing an Infinity Stone, or that was kind of like where they were going.
You were waiting for that.
Yeah, in some way, somehow, it was like, oh, cool, there's a MacGuffin in this movie. I bet it's an Infinity Stone at the very end, and then sure enough, Ether, Infinity Stone, Space Stone, whatever it may be, Power Stone, and then it was. Now okay, so that's over with the Nova Corps, that's over there, that's over here, that's over there. Oh, wow, Thanos is really going to have to travel the world, the galaxy, in order to really collect everything. And then they start separating all these people, and then major figures start dying, like Odin and them.
That falls into the category now of what people are fearing is this the end of the Marvel run? Like, if people are still going to tune in now, with the Infinity Stones being like the setup, and then now we're past that, are people still going to be interested into continuing on with these movies now that we have Kang the Conqueror?
So there is a danger with Kang the Conqueror, right? The Infinity Stones are objects that you can place in different movies. You don't need to cast anyone for that, right? You can just simply tease it in Infinity Stone here.
Just throw it at you.
Throw it in there. That's it, right? Oh, who's thinking in the background? That's it, right? Jonathan Majors is a Kang, right? He is playing different variants of Kang. Who's to say that Jonathan Majors is going to show up in several different Marvel properties just to make a 10-second cameo? This is a Kang from this universe, or this Kang is popping up here, or maybe the end credit is that he pops in here at this point to mess something up in this timeline to slowly start building his Secret Wars empire, Battle World at the end, right?
And that's the crazy thing, though, is that you have this person that needs to show up all over the place. How are you supposed to keep that straight? Because if you looked at a bunch of the Kangs that were inside of that dome, a lot of them looked the same.
Yeah,
there was a lot of them that just like it just looked like Jonathan Majors inside of an outfit. Jonathan Majors in the same outfit. Jonathan Majors in a different outfit. It's exactly the same thing. So so then if that's the case, is this the Kang that was from Ant-Man and the Wasp? Is this the Kang from Loki? Is this the Kang from this? Is this the Kang from? It becomes overly complicated because even in the comic books, it was kind of complicated.
He was the more complicated villain because he popped up everywhere. He was also a young Avenger at one point. His different variant. He was a younger version of himself.
Who wasn't
posing
a Kang.
as
Iron Man.
Iron Man, or no, it was
Iron Lad.
Iron Lad. Yeah, he was Iron Lad, and he was a good guy, but he was still connected to Kang the Conqueror. Even then, and then you have the Pharaoh Kang, which is like all over the place.
Ramata or something like that. Yeah.
Then you have the basically like the Prime Kang, which is like the glowing one and stuff.
And that's what I'm saying, is that you have all these Kangs all over the place. They can get very confusing very fast. And unless they're properly, how many different ways can Jonathan Majors play the same character? I mean, don't get me wrong.
No, you can do that, but how many times can you get him in studio to record or to even film something?
Because he's already a high-rolled actor right now.
I mean, he's got 3 movies coming out right now?
Unless he's already filmed it.
Unless while they had him in, they filmed it. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's what they did for a couple of the other ones.
Creed 3, Quantamania. What's the third one?
The King Dynasty.
No, the third
technically
movie.
Devotion.
Which one?
Oh, Devotion. That's
Devotion.
right.
That's going to be
Just
coming out.
No, Devotion already came out.
Yeah, but technically that came out this year.
No, that came out last year.
He's a busy man. We got about 10 to 15 minutes before we wrap up this issue, so I just kind of quickly want to go through our thoughts about this film, what we individually thought. Did we like it? Did we not?
Oh,
what?
Really quick. So I was telling Monica about Limitless because we were watching it on Disney Plus. A little bit off the topic. We thought it was
with Bradley Cooper?
No. With
Chris Hemsworth. Chris
Hemsworth, because I was telling her about the whole like, oh yeah, he got his diagnosis on the show. Oh, the show. And then and she was like, oh wow, that's really sad. And then she was like, can we watch it? Because she wanted to watch the episode. So then we watched it, and it was so funny because she was like, because they go, oh yeah, like this is the diagnosis. We need to really have Chris Hemsworth use his mind and use his brain. So we're gonna have him do a brain challenge in order for him to, in order for him to stay healthy, because he's training his body but not his brain.
I don't like that you're giggling.
I know. I'm just
So
like you. Why are
funny.
you joking? Why are you joking about diagnosis, dude?
Because then we're sitting there, we're going like, I wonder what they're gonna do. Maybe it's like a giant like survivor, like maybe it's like a puzzle, or maybe it's like an escape room that he has to like solve or anything like that. And then she's like, so I'm gonna make Chris Hemsworth go into the Australian outback and survive for an entire week, and he's got to make it back on his own and survive. And me and Monica went, what? What's that supposed to do? It's turned into Survivor?
Oh, wait, is it because of like the trained his mind?
Yeah, that was like so
that's
that way.
the reason?
So
Okay.
to stay creative and stay and to stay on top of things, they went, here's a knife, do something with the knife, make it back to
Yikes.
civilization, and they dropped him off in the
Just
middle
remember
of.
where
I'm
you're
only
at.
like, I don't,
Just remember.
I'm trying.
where-
I'm only laughing because Nick found that funny, and I'm
Yeah,
just like,
same
where's
here.
where's the punchline
I thought
here?
that was messed up.
No, you know what's messed up is laughing about another man's diagnosis.
No, okay, hold on.
Listen, if you're
that-
gonna tell a joke like that, you gotta get the punchline up and
hold
ready.
on. I thought that, oh yeah, we need to train his mind. I thought they were gonna be like, so we're gonna put him inside of this like escape room or something like
Nick,
that.
if you're
in
gonna
order
joke
for us
about
to do
this,
that.
what you did is you set yourself up and Monica as terrible people for laughing about this. You should have just hit the punchline 10 seconds into your story. That way, it's like, oh, dude, he's about to find out.
Everybody
Some
else-
stuff is coming down,
Hold
guys.
on, everybody else who saw it, put it in the comment. I swear to God,
This is your
go
hate mail.
watch it.
This is
go
your
watch it.
You know what
it
he
is
did?
some of
He
the
interrupted the
most
review
ridiculous
so he could get a
thing in
heads
the world.
up on the hate mail.
No.
That's what he did. Now he's gonna win.
Okay, what made you think of that story? Right
Yeah.
now? Like what?
Yeah,
what in the conversation you were like, oh, Limitless, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God!
I
Rene,
actually
what did you
really
think
don't.
about Quantamania?
I don't know what connected it to
Yikes.
Chris Hemsworth, but it did.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
I'm not gonna lie. It was a bit that it was something that I
Nick's-
told Monica I was gonna
you
say
know
on the
what's
podcast. And I was
limitless?
like, oh, there it
His
is.
sense of humor. It's just
Well, Mon doesn't listen to it. She's like, I'm disappointed.
I'm so disappointed, dude. Now people are gonna send me hate mail.
Yeah, you.
Not me. I didn't laugh at this. I haven't even seen the show.
I just thought it was funny.
You know what I
I
did?
just thought it was funny.
I just thought it
Renee,
was
what
funny.
did you think of Quantamania?
I
thought there was easier ways to train his brain.
there is.
It's watching Quantamania, making sense of
Watching
it.
Quantum.
Watch him.
Trying to find the connections with
Have him
Kang.
watch Tenet and just tell you what it's about.
No!
Oh my
No, dude.
Oh my god.
How does time work stop?
Yeah.
Can we not, dude? I don't want to talk about Christopher Nolan. You started this.
Oh my god, that just made me think of a funny thing right now.
Nope, no.
In the show, they
no.
give him a Where's Waldo book. Okay, find him. And he's like, I don't know where it's at. Like, I can't find him.
This is why we'll never meet Chris Hemsworth.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks for that, Nick.
No problem.
It's on you.
He won't remember.
No, but
Oh my gosh! No. If you're not watching,
Oh my god.
Brian's attacked Nick live in studio.
That actually did.
We come to you with breaking news.
What did I say?
Breaking news. Keep
What
it
did
up
I
with the
say?
nerds. Is they're fighting each other.
Ow.
Yeah.
That actually did hurt.
Okay, I'm not gonna fuel this fire. I'm gonna move forward.
I don't condone this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
what I
Nerds Network.
what
We
I
are
thought
not
of the
paid
film-
professionals.
Overall, I did enjoy the movie. It did a great job of establishing King the Conqueror and stuff like that.
it's okay.
Jonathan Majors did a great job. I like MODOK. He was actually my favorite character in the movie. I think for me, I got a little annoyed with Cassie's character in some ways.
She was just. There was a lot of things that came out of her mouth where I was just like,
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, you're playing the rebellion teenager. It makes sense, but it's like, it's too cliche what you're doing.
"You're a superhero, Dad.
Yeah.
Stop being lame."
That was cold. I was like, oh yeah, like now that you saved the world, you don't do anything else, Dad. I'm over here.
That was a reality
Yeah,
check.
I was,
dude.
Yeah.
like, I was like,
The
jeez.
truth hurts. The truth
Yeah.
hurts.
I was like, dang, man, he was trying to make a name for himself because he's a convict, and now you're getting mad at him for putting himself out there and that people well liked, and he's no longer remembered as a convict, but he's remembered as a superhero. It's like, you're still lame, Dad. Like, you don't do anything with your life. Okay, but overall,
Would you do? Write a book?
yeah.
How dare you write a book and
Yeah.
put food on the table, Dad?
How dare you go back in time and save everyone that I ever lost, you know? But
It's supposed to be why you like
Yeah.
the movie.
no, it's just that the Cassie character really struck a nerve with me. That's the
Oh,
thing.
I like Cassie.
I mean, she was great. She was cool when she had those moments with Scott.
Yeah.
Those cute father-daughter moments. Those were good. Overall, though, I did enjoy it. I just wish they took a bigger risk at the end of the movie. Something.
Okay.
It's fair.
Just anything. Adam, what do you think?
You're in timeout.
Why?
I'll agree with you on the Cassie part. The first time I watched it, I didn't like her. Second time, I thought she worked really well.
Okay.
You watch movies more than once.
I saw, yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's called
Must be nice to have time.
devoted to your work.
I know. So,
Sheesh! Oh my goodness!
Get back to editing.
Oh my gosh!
be more devoted. Jeez, all right.
Do more.
Do
Be
more.
better.
God, I didn't know my freaking co-hosts were so mean to me. Someone get Nick his whip.
You just beat me up on camera.
No one saw. I'm the one that could cut it, dude.
It stopped recording. It stopped recording an hour ago. Just kidding. But I think I love that the film embraced the randomness. I love that there were no guidelines essentially for them. It's like, hey, here's a blank piece of paper. Show us what you can do. And they gave us what they gave us, and I appreciate that. You know, because it's not easy to make a film. You know, and I think, and obviously, me being, you know, watching a lot of films, I can appreciate what this film is. Because I think, yes, is there a little bit biasness because I love Paul Rudd as an actor? Absolutely. Yeah. But I think the chemistry between the cast really centrals the film really well. You know?
Cool.
And then ants. Who doesn't love ants? You know?
I don't like
that was good.
dude, when they
You like
invade my
ants?
apartment.
No.
That was the other thing that I didn't like, that I thought was interesting about this movie. There wasn't a lot of ants.
Yeah.
No, they came at the end, dude.
Yeah.
But I feel like the ants are always the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like Anthony.
Yes.
Rest
Pour
in
one
peace.
like, out for the boy.
Yeah, like when Anthony,
R.I.P.
when you know Anthony gets hit by the laser, you were like, "No, Anthony!"
You felt it.
You felt it because you were like, "I'm gonna call you Anthony," and you know he named it. There was no ants in this one.
There was the end. So what did you like it or did you
Sorry.
hate the movie?
I'd like to add one more thing.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm also in the minority on thinking Jonathan Majors was absolutely amazing in this film. He was
how's that the
great.
minority.
Everybody's
That's
saying he was amazing.
Oh.
I felt he was very
okay.
no, I thought he was good, but I didn't think he was amazing until that final act. I was like, okay, it wasn't really flowing well in the first two acts, but in that third act, I was like, I'm on board, and I'm glad it was watered down, in a sense, because this is just a sample piece of what we're getting.
I thought
for Kang.
The thing is that I understand what you're saying. Of his acting in the very beginning, wasn't as not acting, but like
Underwhelming?
His Kang was underwhelming in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of he is playing the innocent.
Yeah.
He is playing this somebody who crash landed in this world and doesn't know what's going on. The minute that Janet Van Dyne understands who he is and that he is Kang the Conqueror,
that switch just flipped.
You see the switch
Yeah.
in Jonathan Major, like you can actively see his body and posture change.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Who's Kang?"
Yeah.
And you can see him just kind of like, we were so close.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you had to ruin it.
His body language tells two stories.
Yeah.
A one that wants to hide stuff, and the other one that's like, you found out because that body. You're talking about the when he was sitting in his chair, right? Did you also notice that it wasn't the fact that he got caught, but it was more of like, you don't understand why I'm doing this.
It's like he wanted to get caught.
No,
No, not wanted to. It's just that
you don't understand why what I'm doing is necessary.
Bingo. That's what that
What
body
I'm
language was.
doing is necessary. Wiping these people out, killing off timelines, is saving your life. And she even asks, "Are you gonna wipe me out?" And he goes, "Nope." He goes, "You saved me. Why would I wipe your world out? Your timeline is safe. All you have
For now.
Just jump inside and I'll take you home and let me escape." And she was like, "I can't do it. I can't let you escape because I know what you're going to do."
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't directly affect me, and then that's when you see that Janet Van Dyne is still a hero. She's still the Wasp.
Yeah.
You know.
That Avenger.
So that's why I'm saying Jonathan Majors did an amazing job in this. I mean, Jonathan Majors has been really killing it just because if you look at his performance from Loki compared to Quantamania.
Oh, completely two different people.
Two different people.
Yeah. Literally characters, but also him.
Yes.
You know?
Like, because He Who Remains is more goofy and more of...
Laid back.
He's more laid back. I know the future.
Yeah.
So you can't harm me.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing is right. So he is all in his right to do whatever it is he wants.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors even says, he goes, the two are separate because the Kang the Conqueror that's in Quantamania every movement that he has a purpose. Whereas inside of Loki, his is a lot more goofy, where he can throw things around and he makes jokes and he really plays with his food. Kang doesn't.
Yeah. I think just from reading the reviews, there was like, oh, Jonathan Majors. And then it's not what they're actually saying until that final act.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
So, did you like the film or not?
I enjoyed the ride. It's a fun ride. It's an interesting movie. It's definitely if anything, I would say it's the second best Ant-Man movie. I would still say that Ant-Man 1 is still the most fun. Because when I think of an Ant-Man movie, I feel them to be fun and entertaining. I felt like this one was more of a adventure. It was fun, but it wasn't as funny. It doesn't have as many memorable moments.
It forced a lot of jokes.
Of jokes, whereas I remember Ant-Man movies having that quick wit.
Yeah.
It was really easy wit, and there was a lot of really funny stuff. There's a lot of stuff that was quotable.
Yeah.
I don't think I could quote this movie unless it was a menacing Kang line. There was nothing that Scott said or Hank said to each other that was super witty or anything else. And usually those come from Luis hanging out with Scott or vice versa. So I do feel like the movie was lacking in certain areas, but it's definitely a passable. I'm interested to see where it goes and where these characters move on from this point.
Gotcha. For me, I'm on that same boat. Did we all say we liked it?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah.
So I will say, movie to me was passable. I understand why it's mid-tier, 7 out of 10-ish on that territory. My biggest problems were the screenwriting. That was it. The screenwriting was terrible. It was all over the place. The world building, didn't believe it at all. There's a lot of holes where, there were a lot of leftover pieces that could have been better fitted. Jonathan Majors was the best part. I felt like he understood what kind of character he was playing. The lines that you were talking about that come from Kang, the quotable ones, they're still ingrained in me. Which one are you? The one with the hammer? That's the threat. It's those lines that Jonathan Majors sold about Kang that was like, okay, this guy has killed Avengers, that this guy has been a threat and killed timelines that have had Avengers. That means that these people have died, right?
Nothing that anybody else said is memorable, though.
No, nothing. Kang did a lot of those memorable lines, right? The reason why this movie is, for me, passable, though, is because its foundation is what works. The idea behind all this was great. It could have been done a lot better if you had another writer who understood that the quantum realm was a better tool than just the setting. This film would have been so much better. What I do have an issue with, and I do think that you guys should listen to the Our Real Addiction podcast that comes out tomorrow, because we'll talk about the critics review and the audience review score. For me, the biggest issue comes down to the fact that I think that it's going to get a lot of unfair reviews in the sense that people have that superhero movie exhaustion already. And I can tell because, and Andy doesn't like it that I say this, but I use her as a ruler, a measurement in terms of how well a movie does. If she doesn't like a movie, her body language will say a lot of it. And I know that she's uncomfortable watching it or just bored out of her mind with it. By the time we were out with this movie, she said that she's kind of like, I'm already confused because there's so many pieces that are moving around all over the place. What do I need to keep up with? I'm just tired of it. I just want to know what's happening. That's what we're getting to.
Oh, I just thought of that.
What?
Yeah, this movie's just Tron.
Basically. Yeah.
That's all this movie is. It's just Tron.
It's Tron, but it's Tron it's Tron trying to figure out how to get pieces from its past to kind of make sense. And this movie didn't do it. And I think that a lot of the fans, a lot of the people that are still with the MCU are trying to make this movie work because they don't want these movies to die out. The MCU is still good. It's still a thriving business. Superhero movies still exist. They're still going to be good, right? I don't think it's Eternals tier, simply because Eternals was trying to tell a novella-style kind of storyline that was more dialogue than action. And that's completely forgettable.
I'm still on the pro point that Eternals could have been good as a Disney Plus show.
Sure, I believe that.
Give them more. That way you could have given
them more time.
Given them all time. Given them a lot more length and grow these characters. I feel like Eternals would have been a better Disney Plus show.
Yeah, but to say that this movie is on par with something like Wakanda Forever or Eternals or stuff like that, I think this movie.
I actually think that it's. I don't like Wakanda Forever all that much.
It's better. I would say that this movie is a little more enjoyable than Wakanda Forever.
Definitely. I think this is honestly one of Marvel's better projects since Endgame.
Because that was the other thing. I showed it to Monica as well, and she was like, how did you like Wakanda Forever? And I go, Wakanda Forever, you feel its length.
Yeah.
You can really start feeling its length. And by the time that she got to Telecom, she was like, how long is this movie?
Yeah. And then you see that it's another hour.
And I was like, we still have another hour. And she goes, you're right. I'm really starting to feel the length.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, where everything else goes. But that also, there's been so many different projects where nothing connects. There's nothing that's overlaying. There's nothing that's there that gets me excited for the next project. I mean, except for Loki, I guess.
Yeah, but now there's a lot of pressure on Loki because Loki has to knock it out of the ballpark. And not only that, but now Loki has the added pressure of being a good show on its own.
Somewhat.
But also trying to connect storylines and trying to build this universe that is Phase 5 and Phase 6. Right? So it's got those responsibilities. What were you going to say? This is our last thought because we got to wrap up.
Yeah, because I think also Guardians. People are looking forward to Guardians regardless of how it connects.
Well, Guardians is a James Gunn property, and James Gunn's been killing it in the market so far. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, what was your point?
Yeah, but he's saying Loki has to knock it out of the park, but I think Guardians is too. Regardless of whether it's connecting to our storyline yet.
Well, as of right now, I'm looking forward to seeing Guardians because Guardians, I do feel that James Gunn did take that leap because it does sound like either the roster. This is the end of this roster. This roster is not going to be.
I don't buy that though.
Whether they die or they leave.
Yeah.
Because even Dave Bautista said
he's done. We know he's done.
He's done. We're telling the story of Rocket. Yeah. So whenever we tell a story about somebody, that usually means, hey, they're pretty much on the chopping block.
Yeah.
We've already seen insider footage, Quill is either hurt or wounded or something when they're carrying him in. So that's why I'm saying this roster of the Guardians is probably done. We're not going to get the same roster in another movie. So but I do feel that James Gunn is willing to take those risks.
I think we'll get them in the Avengers.
Depending
but not
if
the
they
same
survive.
roster.
Not the same roster. I think we'll get the Guardians, but it's going to be somebody. It's going to be a different team.
Yeah.
I think there'll be variants of these characters.
I think it's going to be Warlock leading.
I don't, because these are the money-making Guardians. These are the household names now. Feige knows he needs the household names on board for Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars.
But James Gunn is also infamous for not allowing other people to work on his properties.
It's true.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's Feige's word over James Gunn's word.
True.
But also it depends on their contracts.
Yeah.
Because Dave Bautista's already said, he goes, this is my last one.
We got to wrap this show up so we can agree to disagree, and I'm just going to say this. We can agree and disagree and just simply say that it could either go either way, right? But the evidence shows one more than the other. Yeah. That's all it is, right? So that about does it for this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Hopefully we were as informative as we were What? Why do you shake no?
No, go ahead.
Finish your thought, Brian, before you have to get back to editing.
Oh my god, dude. If you guys want more information about us, you guys can find us at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Follow us on our socials. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe there. Let us know what you guys think, because we got a lot of more projects to work on. Especially keep your eyes out for the Valentine's Day video, which is late because of the editing. Ugh, my god, it's so terrible. Whatever. And if you guys want to follow us on an audio platform so you guys don't pull a Nick and, you know, watch the videos as you guys are driving, follow us on our podcasts where you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Don't throw him under the bus. He's gonna get a
Dude, he
ticket
sold
now.
himself out so many times already. It's over, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
okay
done.
if he
I
does.
don't watch YouTube. I watch Hulu.
Okay, well,
Or Funimation.
with that said, can we wrap up this issue, please?
No, let's go for another hour. No,
No,
just
we're
kidding.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 136. My name is Nicolero.
This is Brian.
Renee.
And Adam.
Signing off from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.